Hey there. If it's all right, I want to ask you a personal question. When you step on stage to perform or receive recognition, when you're asked to lead a discussion at work, or when you attempt something new or scary, when you're called on to teach, create, or innovate, who do you bring with you? What if I told you that your life right now is worth noticing? This is the Attention Collection. I'm Anthony Garcia. Hey, so just a quick heads up. In case you missed last week's episode, it might be a good idea to go back and check that out before you continue. But either way, I'm glad you're here. Last week we talked about Claudette Colvin and how she drew strength to stand in a seemingly impossible situation. She stood up for what matters by drawing strength from a great cloud of witnesses. And it's this realization that we all have the capacity for the same. That even though it feels that way sometimes, we are never truly alone. We always have others to draw from, and that the person that we are today is a reflection of the people we've drawn from in our lives and how important those connections are. And in response to that episode, my good friend Jake sent me this video clip from Maya Angelou, and she's describing the connections that made her strong. And it was worded in such a beautiful, poetic way that only Maya Angelou herself could have done. And it moved me. And so I just had to continue this conversation into this week's episode. So this is a clip from Maya Angelou in an Oprah masterclass. Check it out.
There's an African American song, 19th century, which is so great. It says, when it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. Imagine. And I've had so many rainbows in my clouds. I had a lot of clouds. But I have had so many rainbows. And one of the things I do when I step up on a stage, when I stand up to translate, when I go to teach my classes, when I go to direct a movie, I bring everyone who has ever been kind to me with me. Black, white, Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, gay, straight, everybody. I say, come with me. I'm going on the stage. Come with me, I need you now. Long dead, you see? So I don't ever feel I have no help. I've had rainbows in my clouds. And the thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so that you can be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. Somebody who may not look like you, may not call God the same name you call God, if they call God at all. You see? And may not eat the same dishes prepared the way you do, may not dance your dances or speak your language, but be a blessing to somebody. That's what I think.
That's what I think. My friend Jake was blown away by that statement alone. He said, what an understated and powerful way to end that thought. I can't agree more. When I heard this, it was like hearing the gospel etched in stone. It's a mic drop. So for her to end with, this is just my opinion though, so casually and so humbly, in and of itself, is so inspiring to me. Here is a decorated author, a poet, a musician, a composer, a dancer, a playwright, a screenwriter, an actor, a director, a civil rights leader, a professor, a multilingual professor who spoke either 5 or 6 languages. In other words, a complete superhero. And she thinks. No, I believe she knows. So since you probably don't want to hear a 3-hour episode, let's limit it to 2 thoughts on Dr. Angelou's words here. Number 1, looking at this incredible force of nature, this amazing woman, who would ever think she needs help from anyone? That she would even need to stop for a moment to consider those who have been nice to her, who have helped her, who have encouraged her or strengthened her in any way. And yet she says, whenever she endeavors to put anything into the world, she stops and says, "Come with me. I need you now." What if we took this to heart? What if we made this a kind of practice? What if we intentionally started taking note of anyone who has ever contributed to our life in some way? This could be big or it could be small. It could be someone who gave us a chance when no one else would, or it could be someone who said something in passing that was just what we needed in that moment. And what if we imagined that we were bringing them along into our endeavors, the things that we were attempting to put out into the world? I'll give you a small example. A gentleman I've never met came up to me yesterday and told me a story that was meaningful to his life. And it moved me so much, I asked this gentleman if, when the chance comes along, if I can tell his story. And he gave me the blessing to do so. So what if I brought that gentleman into my storytelling? Even if I didn't tell his specific story, if because he entrusted me with something so precious to him, what if when I'm telling my story, I bring this gentleman along? It's this refusal to buy into the hype of being self-made. This idea that I did it my way and I had to do it on my own. For whatever reason, it feels more successful to frame things that way, but it's complete nonsense. If anyone could make that claim, Maya Angelou probably could do so, and yet she said, without discrimination, I bring along those who have been there for me in whatever way, shape, or form. Anyone who has shined into my life, anyone who has been a rainbow into my cloud. And without going into this gentleman's story here today, one of the things he said was that someone did something generous for him. And when he tried to pay them back, the man simply said, "When you get the opportunity, pass it along to someone else." As Dr. Angelou said here, prepare yourself so that you can be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. So there are 2 sides to this. It isn't just about our need to receive from others. It's about our need to pass along what we have received. So the question is, are we intentionally showing up for people in a meaningful way? Every single one of us, probably every day of our lives, is accidentally helpful. We do things for other people because we are basically kind. We are generally thoughtful. And some of us are better than others at going above and beyond. But what if we cultivated a practice of intentionally showing up? Of not letting anyone go on stage alone, so to speak. If Dr. Angelou's words here did not inspire you, I don't know where to go from there. But what do we do with those words? How do we put handles on them so that we can actually use them in our lives? Try this. Think of 5 people you would bring with you into your endeavors, your dreams, your celebrations. Bring on stage with you and write those names down. Now contact those 5 people in some way today. Not tomorrow, not this coming weekend, not on their birthday, today. Whether this is via phone call, via text, through email, but whatever you do, don't make a cute post and put it on social media and tag them so everyone knows how thoughtful and amazing you are. Make it super personal. If you write a handwritten letter and mail it, so be it. But let them know when you need encouragement. When you step on stage, when you attempt to put something meaningful into the world, you bring them. You bring their influence. You bring their encouragement. You bring their energy along with you. That they stand next to you whether they realize it or not. Just let them know. I can almost guarantee you won't ruin their day. In fact, you might make it just a little bit better. You might find out that they feel the same way about you. You'll probably open the door for deeper connection. And this just isn't a cute podcast thought. I'm going to put this into practice. I need this in my life, so I'm doing it today. Pick your 5 people. And then lastly, ask yourself, who can I show up for this week? Who can I step out for? If you've been inspired, the best thing you can do is pass it along. And since you're in the mood to pass things along, what about this podcast? Share it with your friends, get it out to somebody, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, join us on Instagram, on Facebook, keep this conversation going. Until next week.